Welcome to the Better Off Bonus Call of the Week. We're sponsored by Betterment, the largest online financial advisor. Remember, you've got two chances to get on the air with us on Tuesdays. We do this Better Off Bonus Call of the Week. And then after the longer show on Thursdays, we've got the listener question of the week. Just send us a note if you'd like to get on the air with us. Ask Jill at betteroffpodcast.com. That's what Jeff did. He's calling from Chicago. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the show. What can I do for you?
Hi, Jill. So a few weeks ago, you had mentioned something about if you have multiple IRA accounts, doing a backdoor Roth could be problematic. And so I wanted to just get some of the complexities there.
Okay. First, tell us about yourself and what we should know about your current situation financially.
Sure. So I'm just primarily saving for retirement. I have chosen to diversify my IRAs into a bunch of different accounts. And so some of them are asset-based accounts like the fixed note kind of accounts through peer-to-peer lending. Some of them are in the markets. So I have like probably 4 or 5 accounts spread out like that.
Mm-hmm. And how old are you and what's going on in your life?
34, married, just had a first son. So.
Mm-hmm. How much money do you have right now in Roth accounts?
About 40.
Okay, great. Okay, now tell me a little bit about the other stuff and how much money, like specifically what's in traditional.
So then in traditional, it's basically 120.
Okay, and is that in one account that's just like, did it come from a rollover? Or what? Just give me a little bit
No,
of
it's like I said, it's spread out through many accounts. So there's some that were rolled over into an IRA. There's some that I just started and contributed to. And then, so it's kind of like all over the place.
Okay. And in 401k, the funds that you have inside of a 401k, how much do you have?
Yeah. So with my current employer, I've been there for a relatively short period of time. So it's only $10,000 in a Roth.
In a Roth 401k?
Yep.
Okay. And are you maxing that out?
Yep.
Okay. And tell me about like you're married, you're starting out and you got a lot of bills. Non-retirement assets. What do you have?
Let's see. So non-retirement assets. So I have about 40 with 50, somewhere in there.
Okay. And is that your emergency reserve fund, or is that essentially just extra money in addition to the emergency reserve fund?
No, I would consider that emergency reserve.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Converting the $120,000 that's in the traditional would require you to essentially have to pay the tax due on that money. So that's sort of one of the pieces of this, right? That you would actually just have to pay the tax due. And it doesn't sound like you have the money to pay the tax that's due on that. Is that correct? Because the 40 to 50 is really your emergency money, right?
Yeah, that's correct. But I wasn't looking to convert that the traditional to Roth. Basically, what I was asking about was every year I maximize a traditional IRA contribution and then convert it to a Roth.
So like a backdoor, right? It's a traditional, but it's a non-deductible, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
And I thought a couple of shows ago you'd mentioned that there's some issues of that.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I understood exactly where we are with this. Okay, so the backdoor Roth is the traditional way that you would do it is you'd throw your $5,500 in, right? It's post-tax money, and then boom, you convert it to a Roth, right? No tax consequence, very easy. But if you have other money in traditional IRAs, there's now something called this Prorata Rule. And it's kind of complicated. So here's what I think is the kind of the way to think about it. You've got $120,000. It's already in a traditional IRA. It's all pre-tax money, right? And so what happens is if you then put your $5,500 into a non-deductible traditional IRA, and I presume it's just sort of a separate account. It's not commingled with that other 120, right? Okay. Theoretically, some portion of the money is now subject to this pro rata rule, meaning that even if it's in a separate account, you might say, oh, I'm just doing this one account. I'm going to do this. You have to look across all of your traditional IRAs. And so for that reason, if you already have a bunch of money in your traditional IRA, this backdoor Roth may not be a good thing. And so what I would suggest to you is the following. I would stop doing your non-deductible. I would just fully fund your Roth 401k, and that will be the money you use. Because essentially, when you're subject to this weird Prorata Rule, you're not getting the best of what a conversion means. And so that's my fear for you. What I think you should be thinking about is that because this is complicated, and because it subjects you to this weird pro rata rule on what you can and cannot convert and how much you can do, I think I would just leave it alone now in 2018 and fund the 401k. Try to use, you can always, you make too much money to use a Roth, right? Just as a plain Roth. So then I would just build up your non-retirement assets. And again, what I think is really important is that because of the rules, you may just want to chill out and wait and not do much. And again, having the pre-tax money is not the worst thing in the world, especially now that you have a Roth 401k option. So that's what I would do. That's what I would leave it alone. You know what we're going to do? We're going to send Ed Slott an email on your behalf and have him explain this to us, and we'll send you a quick note to follow up with you, okay?
Great.
Sounds good? All right, Jeff. Thanks for calling. Okay, that's a wrap of our Better Off bonus question of the week. If you've got a question, it's simple. Send us an email at askjill@betteroffpodcast.com. We'll arrange to get you on. And don't forget, in just a couple of days, there's a brand new episode of the Better Off Podcast sponsored by Betterment. Talk to you then.